Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue our exploration in this ancient language, my native tongue. And we're going to continue with the October streak that does 3-character Chinese expressions a day, which are more contemporary, more fun in a way than traditional because it's asymmetrical. It's an odd number. Okay, so today we talk about 不淡定. 不淡定 is a loosely connected set phrase because 不 is a negation. And then we can take out the negation, make it positive. 淡定 by itself kind of means calm, stable, balanced. But 不 add in front of it, instantly put it into in my mind, it will bring a picture of somebody who was unsure, who's hesitant, who is kind of at lost, or at least not staying calm. So that's the picture to mind, and it depends on the context, and then you'll fill out more details of what 不淡定 in this context is. Okay, so let's go down to each character. 不 This character we came across so many times in the almost 2 years of me doing this. And I came up with different theories. So according to some scholar, this looks like a bird shooting up toward the sky, refusing to come down to the earth. So saying no to the earth. I mean, that's a poetic version. And then I learned that this structure, this convex shape with a vertical line, it actually means enter. It gives you a visual sense of puncturing from your previous space, puncturing through into the new space. And it's like a visually forceful here, right? The needle, you can imagine that. And then we have the first horizontal line. Normally, if the one horizontal line on the upper frame of this Chinese character, that means somewhat related to the sky, right? In this case, it's you can view it as the origin, the original place, and then you have this effort trying to go somewhere, right? And therefore this dome shape and then puncture. Now this kind of a drapey looking thing, it looks like a gravity, right? Because even if it's a 2D frame, all of us are living on Earth. We have this experience of sky is on the top, and then down here is the ground level, and it's gravity is pulling all of us downward. So when we express something like this, it's almost like, okay, it's draping down. It's pulled by gravity. But I view this now as a stylized indicator. So a bunch of Chinese characters, in the formation of the components, the visual components of Chinese characters, some of them are simply indicators, comparable to today's age arrow pointing. Like it's not really part of the picture that representing the physical world, but instead it's an arrow pointing to draw your attention to a particular part of that character. And because when we put a picture up there, there are many things you can look at. You are not exactly sure. So to kind of de-ambiguate the Chinese character, and then such kind of indicator is added. But eventually, because the indicator doesn't, over here is like a drapey dome thing pointing downward. It's hard for us to see it's actually an indicator. It almost like a describing something. Maybe it is. My current theory is it is an indicator that cut across this puncturing needle thing. So it's kind of a crossing that, so that it means here is what where we're drawing our attention to, which is the new space. If we regard the horizontal line as the original space, and the vertical line is the kind of a puncturing going into the new space, and then this indicator cutting across this new space, then that means this is the emphasize. This is the new space that we're talking about. So the new space in relative to the original space, it's a new domain, right? If we visualize it as two circles, it's from the original one entering the new one, I guess connected by this puncturing. So it's a negation. The new space here is a negation to the original space. It's like you departed, you left it. It's no longer, you're no longer in that space. Therefore, it's a no. Okay, a little bit long-winded, but okay. That we have left and right, and actually we have water and fire in both characters. In Chinese traditional philosophy, we have 5 basic elements, and water and fire, of course, are the main, because water is about life, right? And fire is, I guess, the improvement of life quality, because now you can eat cooked food. So water came from this river, depiction of river, water in its natural habitat, which is flowing in a kind of a stream or channel. So the middle part of the river is kind of aerodynamic flowing, it's continuous line, and then the two sides have a little bit interaction of there. That depicts kind of like a river. When it's getting closer to the bank, it's going to be more likely to be interrupted. It's no longer one continuous streamline. So that's Chinese, super simplified, but at the same time as realistic as possible of how water looks in nature. So water sign. The right side, you can see, is 2 same elements stack up together. So Chinese got expressions that repeat itself right after the same thing. It also have the phenomenon of using the same visual component. I mean, earlier I was saying the exact same thing. That's the same character repeated twice right next to each other. Like 看看, see, see, 听听, hear, hear, something like that. It's almost like a baby talk, right? You repeat it so that the listener for sure catch it if you double it. But visually too, Chinese does that occasionally when we have 2 fires stack up each other. That means a big fire, right? Bonfire. So now we have big fire plus water together. Why it becomes bland? Okay, originally this means something that's tasteless. It's not salty, it's not savory, it's anti-savory. Like it's just cooked. You got water and fire, that's the basic cooking or stew, right? Element, but without adding any flavor to it. So that describes the things got done, but it doesn't have any flavor or taste. It's really blah, kind of. So that's done. And actually, we have salt water, 咸水, and then we have 淡水. 淡水 is the non-salty water. So that's basically unsavory or bland, I translate here. Okay. 定, we have this big arch thing with a chimney on the top, and that to me signifies domestic, private property space. So you have full shelter, and then you have a chimney, so kind of a cooking. At least you have a kitchen in there, right? You can comfortably live in there. And then inside is 正, it means square, it means not tilted, it's facing you squarely. Okay, this square sense came from 2 parts. One is this horizontal line, kind of like this horizontal line, right? But it here it marks, instead of the origin here, it marks the destination. So that's the goal, that where you want to go in. And then the bottom, the remaining kind of a cactus looking thing, right? With this, and connected at the bottom with the horizontal line. 3 vertical lines, somewhat connected, stack up on a horizontal line. That's a simplification of Chinese foot. Foot, did I pronounce it right? Foot symbol. So the foot symbol is a super simplification of, we have 5 toenails. I mean, toes, not necessarily nails. Just like we have 5 fingers, but when Chinese does this abstraction, only use 3. So I guess there is when it's abstract, the language will discard some part of the message and just give you the essential. And it gets so distorted from reality that if I don't see the researchers or scholars who have been doing this for a long time, I wouldn't have guessed this actually means food. But this icon, this image have occurred in so many characters that relates to walking. And so you kind of know, okay, this is actually a food symbol. I guess at the beginning of the language, this icon was quite realistic. You can kind of relate how it's represented to the physical world, but eventually over the decades, not even decades, thousands of years, then things got abstracted. Then people agree to this kind of writing. So this is the big toe, and you can imagine the rest of the toes there. Okay, the foot symbol means standing, because we have elements that's about footstep. If we add footstep on top of foot, that means walking. Without a footstep, that means you're standing still, not walking. And then you're standing still with the 3 toes pointing toward the destination. That means you orient yourself facing your destination. That's a Chinese way to express square, like you're squarely facing the destination. You know, I mean, isn't that a wonderful thing that you know your destination? And therefore, whatever on the journey, you can endure. You know that's temporary. That's not where you, even if this is where you are currently, this is not where you are going to end up with. You know your destination. You have that big goal over there. So that itself, like if you have the orientation, you know where you're going. That gives you a sense of mission almost, right? Or sense of meaning, or sense of destination over there. And then put it under a dome with a chimney, that's your domestic space. That gives you a sense of stable. That gives you the sense of, okay, this is home, and this is where you're going, and you're sheltered, you're safe, and you know, like you placed yourself squarely in here. So there's no, I guess, emotional struggle over there. I guess it's hard to describe. You know, when they first came up to the character, it's probably more of a survival level than like today we talk more about emotional, because survival probably is not as relevant to today's society versus in the past. If you have a shelter over your head, and if you know the meaning of life, where you're going, that's stable. There's no struggle up there. Okay, so 不淡定, when we put bland and stable, this brings me to mind of how, according to, I mean, some books, I forgot which author talked about this. When you feel stable, when you feel calm, actually it's a low stimuli situation. So it's bland. So the ability to not only get excited, but also to stay put with the long stretch, sometimes time of doing nothing, not exactly not getting stimulated to do something, that you can endure. This blandness is actually a good quality to remain stable for a long time. So 淡定 together is a Chinese way to almost like detached, because you're not getting stimulated, you're not getting unstable, therefore you remain calm. So whatever situation you're facing, you can stay kind of detached, aloof. You get yourself out of that chaos or mess or whatever trying to get you, right? You're not let whatever that maybe other people get engaged with, but you're not engaging with that. That's the 淡定 Chinese talk about. So 不淡定 is you're losing it. you totally get engaged with whatever, and therefore your life becomes not bland anymore and not stable anymore, and which is not a state that we want to be in for a long time, right? So 不淡定, if I try to find a corresponding English word, it would probably like agitated, like people get agitated, you get overstimulated, probably overreacted, and therefore you lose your cool, kind of like that. So that's Chinese 不淡定. Catching into the currency of thinking about, well, what did I was so busy on today?